Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for Liveoffbeats.com. If you like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats or Sounds for Producers on Instagram as well. So, if you notice, I actually am doing another beat breakdown for y'all. This is actually my top played beat as of right now in my beat store, and it's just a lot of love from my fans and also other artists, and just wanted to break down what's most popular right now in my category, and just kind of give you some ideas for you to make your beats, and also just a couple pointers here and there that I think why this beat stands out. So to begin with, I started out with a little loop. That's pretty simple, and I added gross beat on it, and I think I pitched the beat loop around a little bit. For loops, like this type of melody, I'll just solo it and add it with the gross beat I put on there. See, with loops, you want to what I do is change either the pitch or add some type of effect on it, kind of just to make it your own, and not so that it just stays the way that you have it. I heard a lot of producers, everybody has loops, and I hear some producers just use the loop as is. You can always just change it and just keep messing around with it until you kind of come across something that's really dope or something that speaks to you, because you're the one with the vision, and when you start creating a beat, you want to kind of make it your own and make it unique. And you don't want to have the same loop sound like another producer's loop, because we're all different. So what I did with this one, I think I pitched it around. Let's see, I probably did, yeah. And then with the gross beat, I used a preset. I think I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah, I just used the stutter preset where it stutters towards the end. So I pitched it, the loop, and I used gross beat on it. There's tons of different plugins out there that has all these crazy effects and all these parameters you can change. What's cool about this, just right click and you can go to different settings, and then each setting has different presets for volume and time. So this obviously just stutters the effect towards the end, and you can make your own. You can spend some time on it and just experiment adding nodes in here, just going ham with it and just learning your plugin. And I can't stress enough, learn your plugins. I know it's tempting to just buy extra stuff and just because someone else has it or it looks cool at the moment, but learning what you have and mastering it definitely gets you to another level. So the next thing I added, there was a loop there, and this is a long intro. This intro is actually looks like 16, so it's double time, so 8 bars. It's not that long, it just seems like it. Next I added, I think it was an 808, so let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so it's actually so like an eerie lead in Nexus. I can show you what it is. Fantasy and Dreams. So it's like a synth, some type of synth. Kind of keep it creepy and scary in the background. Just kind of wanted that little element to add in there. And I can't stress enough, when you're adding melodies, you know the saying, keep it simple, stupid. So what they mean by that is don't try to do too much where you're just overproducing a beat. You want to find that medium ground where the beat is produced enough but also leaves room for the artist's interpretation of hearing themselves rap on it or sing on it. And I think that's why this beat is doing so well. So anyway, I'll play what else I added. I think it's the 808. Oh no. Once again, it's another simple melody, and I was kind of zoning out when I produced this and just wanted to keep adding really simple stuff. I didn't want to go crazy like I usually do. I was only limit. I hate saying do this and do that, but it's good. A rule of thumb is like a good 3 melodies, maybe 3 to 5, 5 at the most. But also, when you have that many melodies, you want to take certain parts out and put them back in. So let's say you have like 2 playing, you want to, then swap them out with another 2, so, something like that. So that way it's not too busy and you leave space, especially for music that you're making for artists. Now, if you're making stuff for TV, it's different, TV, film, or video games, or you're making stuff for like any other type of special projects like a YouTube channel or website or business or whatever. It's a little different, but with artist stuff, you want to kind of keep it open. So next thing I added, I think we're getting into the drums here. It looks like another loop down here. So let me just play those 2 melodies together so you hear what they sound like. You hear how already it's getting you in that groove without any percussion. Here it is with the loop. So you're already in the zone right there. So let's start it here. And the next is the hi-hats. My bad. Next is actually the 808. The 808, let me zoom in, is very simple. Let me just play this pattern for you. It's just all the same notes and just this high octave. With 808s, it's good to do octave jumps. And I actually have a pitch on this, like a bend. What I did with this 808, let's see. I hope that's it. Yes, it is. Here's how you can do an 808 slide in FL Studio really quick. You can turn on Porta and Mono and turn up the slide based on how long you want it to slide to the next note. So it's like a slide, and it doesn't I played a pattern. It doesn't have like a long time to get to the next note. I just wanted that little hint of nuance in the beat. So check it out. You can really hear it at this octave right here, that da da. And if you notice, there's actually something else playing in the background. Let me see if I can find it. Found it. So something I never do. I was just experimenting, and I definitely got to tell producers, man, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you out there when you're making your beats, just experiment with whatever, because this is art and you want to be free to create. And what I did, I actually used 2 different 808s in here, and it came out really dope. This right here, and the other one you heard. Same 808 right there, and this is the other one. And I put it in the same pattern. I think I was rushing. I usually don't do that. Notice the difference. One is a little more distorted and edgier and just kind of sounds like somebody just slapped it in a, I don't know, squished it. It just sounds a lot more aggressive than the softer one. So you hear a big difference there, and actually that really made this beat stand out. Just that little thing that I experimented with took this beat to a whole nother level. So let's put it back in song mode and let me play what we have so far. And next, I think it was a hi-hat. No. I actually added like this percussion sound in the background. It's like a door knocking, so I can play that by itself. And you notice I actually EQ pretty much every sound in the beat, so I can isolate these frequencies. I can't say it enough. It's important that you shape what frequencies you want out of each sound in correlation to all your other sounds. Like if you think about it, it becomes an art form the more and more you do it, because if you have like, let's say 10 tracks of just percussion sounds, you want to play around with the frequencies. You don't want them all just in one low mid range and all of them going straight up and down. You want to work with panning and work with different elements to make each sound stand out. This one's pretty simple. You know, it's only have like 13 different sounds and not much going on. But, you know, it's putting reverb on here was a way that I wanted to separate that percussion sound. I did play around with delay. Notice it's disengaged, so I didn't use it. I should just take that out, save processing time, power. But anyway, but I can't stress enough, use EQ on everything in the beat. And that doesn't mean, see, a lot of people think EQ, here, let me play this. A lot of people think EQ is just boosting everything. Let me just boost this and boost that. You know, EQ is a very powerful tool that you can use it to take out things and also take them out a little bit or boost a little bit or isolate certain frequencies, especially if it's unpleasant to the ear. So think of EQ as reducing rather than boosting to start with. Now, as you become a little more skilled in mixing and producing for, you know, a couple years, I mean, you can boost it. I don't like to say you can't, but if you're using something and you don't really know why you're using it, then you got to ask yourself a question and be like, hold on, I don't know why I'm doing that. It just sounds good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, use your best judgment. So this is the sound. So it looks like I just cut the highs and the lows, obviously, so it doesn't cut into too much of the 808. I should have cut it around 100, but it looks like I wanted the lower frequencies at the time. I haven't visited this project in a while. So the reverb made this percussion sound stand out, so I thought it sounded dope. So far we got loop, gross beat, what was that? Oh, the first melody, like the creepy lead, and this is another lead, creepy lead with a different melody, and that is the 808, and there's a percussion, and then I added this really awesome, I think it's a vocal loop, I believe. Let me see. Yep. So as you can hear already, the beat is like getting there, and that was like a little vocal loop. So I used two different loops in here, and this one I think I just pitched it down to the key of the beat. Now when you're using multiple loops, make sure, especially loops like that, make sure it's in the key, like in the scale that you're using, because I heard a lot of loops, they're just like, you can tell an experienced producer to one that's just, you know, starting out, and it's all good. You got to start somewhere, or ones that aren't as skilled. And I hear like beats where there's multiple loops in it, but then there's different keys, and you don't want that, because having clashing keys or notes out of key for long periods of time, it's not musical and it's not pleasant to the ear naturally. So just, you know, you want to focus on that. And if you don't know the key, there's actually, I think, some tools online that can find keys of loops, and also I know that Serato Sample will find keys pretty well. So, and if you just, you know, Google it, I'm sure you can find ways to find the key. And a good way to find the key in a loop as well is whatever note you can hold down while playing that loop by itself. If you can hold that note down and it sounds like the ending part of the song, or it sounds good that you can hold that note through the duration of the loop, usually that's the key of that particular loop. Usually that's a quick old school way of doing it, but just a little tip for you. So now that I have all these elements, we're gonna bring in the rest of the elements. It's mostly just percussion here, so let me just play the beat right into the chorus. So you get the idea there. You got a crazy clap on there, got a nice kick in there. I kept the kick dark. This is like a whole theme, and you know, I made sure everything was dark in this beat, but also hitting really hard and punchy. And when a verse came, I took out a few elements. And notice I put in like a little chant in there that it's like a little crowd chant, just to kind of give it that bounce. And notice as you go through the beat, there's elements I'm taking out and adding in. I took out this other melody and put it in the first melody. I took all this out, the 808. Usually with verses is good. I won't say do it and you gotta do it, any producer that says that you have to do it like this. There's no way you have to do it. But what's cool, like usually with verses, you can take out the 808 out on the first verse, so you give a little breathing room for the artist to do their thing. And notice I do like a little break right here before the second part of the verse. Check it out. And notice I did something different with the kick. Break, boom. And I brought the 808 right back in. That way it brings you back home and you're already in the pocket right there. Like it builds up that energy. You notice your head was nodding. You're already feeling that part. So when I did that little element with the kick, I took out other elements so you can focus, the ear can focus exactly on that kick pattern that I did. So little things like that, especially when you're in the beat and you do these little things, you might want to take out some other sounds to make your listener focus in on that special thing you did. So that was just some little element that I did in the beat as well. There's another breakdown. There's the verse, and this, notice the whole second verse pretty much looks different than the first verse, except for the second half looks different. So I like to make different elements and verses just to make my music a little different. You don't have to, but it also helps with keeping your music with more variety and whatnot. So I think this verse is kind of more broken down. Yeah, so I stripped away a lot of different sounds. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You got the chorus, and I think I just calmed it down at the end. Yep. So usually a good way to end a beat is basically back to the beginning. You take what you did for the intro and slap it on the end, but sometimes you can just take out other stuff. It depends on what you want to do at the end. And also for this, I use an end marker. I didn't do a fade out end marker because I wanted the tail of the reverb to do this. And it just leaves this dramatic ending. So there you have it. There's a little breakdown of, I didn't go over too much mixing. I just wanted to show you the different elements in there. I did go over like EQing and effects that you can use and panning and keeping in mind of your other elements. So hopefully I just used isotope on the master. I didn't really do much for mastering because this beat pretty much sounded pretty good without having to do too much for the mixing and mastering. And notice the levels, you do that first, you get your levels every sound, then you focus in on EQ. Actually, I mix as I produce, so that way I'm not just I save time that way, and it's kind of fluid for me because I've been doing it like that for a while. So I'll start making one melody. Maybe sometime I'll do 3 to 4 melodies, and then I'll start mixing. I'll like bring this down, bring that down, EQ that. Actually, everything has an EQ. So, and then you can work on stereo separation of what you want wide or what you want narrow or merged, what they call in FL Studio. So you get the idea. Anyway, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed the beat and the quick breakdown. And again, experiment, and pay attention to like what's popular, because this beat is actually one of my most played beats, and it is for a reason. So that means that I did something right, and I should focus in on the elements and what I did, to make it so popular. So anyway, again, it's DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for Liveoffbeats.com. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJ Fanatic Beats or Sounds for Producers on Instagram as well. Keep making dope music. Peace.